Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe, staying at home. Just in my garden today. A bit of a different setup. It's hot and sweltering out here, so I thought I'd make a video outside in my garden. I wanted to do a video about Roy Jones, right? Someone asked me to do a video about Roy Jones, and one thing I will say about Roy Jones, he's a great fighter, probably one of the most naturally gifted fighters ever, one of the greatest fighters ever. Such a special talent, and I actually think Roy Jones was more naturally gifted than Floyd Mayweather. He was. I think he was overall. He was hard to hit. Offensive ability was far greater than Mayweather, and I think Roy Jones for me was, forget the losses and some of the losses he had. You know, he lost to Tarver. A lot of people thought Roy Jones was unbeatable because he was that great. Some of the things that he could do inside the boxing ring. He was an artist, really. You know, his hands behind his back and knocking guys out. You know, with his hands behind his back. You know, he did things in the boxing ring which were, unthinkable. He had unbelievable speed. Hand speed was one of the best I've seen. Great power as well. You know, a guy that moved up to heavyweight and won a heavyweight world title against John Ruiz. He was just a very gifted, naturally gifted athlete, a gifted fighter. Probably one of the greatest, like I said, one of the greatest fighters ever to, grace the game. He was that good. Mayweather was obviously a lot more. He obviously was a lot more calculated. Some of you say he's a businessman. Yeah, he was. But Roy Jones was. Again, a lot of these fighters of the past weren't very calculated. That's why they took a lot of losses. And Roy Jones, in my opinion, I think he ruined his... I wouldn't say ruined his legacy, because Roy Jones in his prime was, like I said, probably one of the most naturally gifted fighters I've ever seen. But I feel... What I feel about Roy Jones, I think he went on too long. I think, he lost to guys which, that in his prime wouldn't have been able to tie up his shoelaces, really. But the fact is that when you go on too long, people also remember you for that as well. I just think he went on too long. He got knocked out by guys that, like I said, wouldn't in his prime been able to lace his shoes. So I do think that, he should have stopped a lot earlier than he did. But there's no doubt, in his prime, one of the greatest fighters we've seen. His speed, his movement in the ring, his foot speed. The guy was probably the most naturally gifted fighter ever. He was that good. Roy Jones was special. He was a special fighter. Won his first world title against Bernard Hopkins. And Bernard Hopkins was a great fighter in his own right. But I think Roy Jones was something special. I don't think Hopkins, although he was a very defensively great fighter, I don't think he was at the same level as Roy Jones. I think Bernard Hopkins was able to have more longevity in the game because of his style and the fact that he doesn't get hit a lot. But with Roy Jones was just naturally so gifted and talented, very gifted fighter. Like I said, for a guy that started his career at light middleweight, I believe, to move all the way to heavyweight and win a world title, that just shows how great he was. For a guy starting his career, just imagine Jamal Charlo moving up to a heavyweight, and winning a heavyweight world title. Even though he won it against John Ruiz, nevertheless, it doesn't matter. A heavyweight's a heavyweight. John Ruiz is still a big dude, and he went all the way to heavyweight and won a world title. I can't think of any light middleweight that could do that, and that's how gifted Roy Jones was. Roy Jones was special, a special fighter. Probably one of the greatest. I think he's probably the greatest, one of the greatest fighters ever. And some people say he's the greatest. I don't see him as the greatest, but I do definitely see him as one of the greatest. I think he was special. I think he was definitely very, very good, very, very good. And like I said, I think he was more naturally gifted than Floyd. I think Floyd was a lot more defensively sound. But I think Hopkins, not Hopkins, but Jones, from a offensive point of view, he was different class. He was different class. I haven't seen anything like it. Speed, and not just that, he was that good when he was amateur. He got robbed in the Olympics, where he should have won the Olympic gold, and it got robbed from him. Probably one of the biggest robberies in boxing. But you could tell from there that this guy was a special talent. when you first saw him in the Olympics, if you go back and watch those Olympics and you see the way Roy Jones performed in those Olympics, you could tell from there that this guy's going to be something special. You know, his hand speed, his movement, his foot speed, it was unbelievable. And I don't even know how those judges didn't give him that fight, because it was really one-sided in the Olympic final, which I can't believe how they didn't, how they could score it to the other guy. I didn't understand. But Roy Jones, definitely one of the greatest fighters of all time. And you know, I haven't made a lot of videos about Roy Jones, just because, you know, he's kind of, again, one of those guys that's a little bit forgotten, and people forget how great he was. And in his prime, like I said, he was probably one of the greatest fighters of all time. I don't think, you know, Max Kellerman says one of the greatest fighters he's ever seen, and you know, he's seen a lot of great fighters. Roy Jones was something special. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with me? Do you think Roy Jones was special? How do you rate Roy Jones? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. See you guys in the next video.
I want to thank you all for me reaching 7,000 subs. I appreciate your support. Guys, as you can probably see from my channel art, I have recently started Patreon and Blogger. If you were to click on this icon here, it will take you to my Patreon page, and I just want to take you through my Patreon page. So at the minute, I've got 2 options. Hopefully, I will increase this if my Patreon grows. But at the minute, I've got one option, which is $1 a month fan donation, which will obviously help me produce better quality content on YouTube and faster for you guys. And I've got another option of $3 a month for 2 live streams a week discussing boxing with myself. You guys will get to speak to me face to face, and I'll take you to my boxing blog. So if you were to click on this B sign here, it will take you to my boxing blogs, which is this page here. And all you have to do is click on here, and that will take you to my boxing blogs, where you can see all my different articles that I've wrote. So as you can see, I've wrote 6 articles about different topics. So if you want to click on one of my articles, all you got to do is click on this, and it will take you straight to the article, and you can read it, and you can then go back and read the others if you would like. But yeah, guys, I thought I'd just highlight this to you. So make sure to read my articles. Make sure to subscribe to my Patreon if you're interested. And guys, I thank you for your support. I thank you for me reaching 7,000 subs. Guys, I'm out.